Well, hello again. Thanks so much for stopping in. If you're here, that must mean that you want to see some more chainsaw action, so let's see some. I don't think anything has changed in this lineup since the last video that you would have watched. The Bleeding Echo, the Mystery Saw, 3 chainsaws that were dropped off by a fella that climbed my gate, the 2-man, and a couple 260 ones way down there that won't start. So right now, you guys are watching me tear down an MS260 that was found in a dumpster. And while you're watching that, I'm going to grab this 260. This was dropped off for service. We're not sure if it runs. And the tag said something about the bar and chain. I'll see you at the workbench. Hey there. Welcome back to my workbench. My name is Erica, and I'm so glad that you're here. So today you guys are watching me tear down an MS260. And while you're doing that, I'm going to look at this MS260. So this saw was dropped off by a customer, and he said, tune it up. We're not sure if it runs, and check out the bar and chain. So that's what we're going to do. So come along with me, and let's jump into another MS260. Well, here we are with another Stihl MS260. Together, we just dissected one of these, and I ordered all the parts for it, and we're going to put that saw back together when the parts get here. So I thought we should follow up behind that saw and service another one. So this one here has a date of birth, the 3rd month of 2008. 50cc professional chainsaw. So just a quick walk around the outside of it. Plastics handles. The plastics look good. That cover has one crack in it right there. Chain catcher looks like nothing's ever hit it. Maybe it's new, or maybe this thing doesn't work that much. It's actually in pretty good condition, just really dirty. In need of a good cleaning. So the customer said, tune it up. We're not sure if it runs, and check out the chain. That chain has quite a lot of wear on it. Looks like it's been sharpened before, but the rakers, so there's a cutter right there, and there's a raker, and I don't think that raker's been touched. It almost looks like maybe this chain was on backwards at one time. Does it look like that back edge has cut for a short time? See that? I'm just wiping off the serial number so I can get a look at it. This machine was made in the USA. The serial number starts with a 2. Okay, well, let's check see if there's fuel in it. We'll check and see if there's bar oil in it, and then we'll see if it runs. And there is a little blob of fuel and dirt down in the bottom. Look at the dirt stuck to that fuel filter. Just do a quick pressure test here of the fuel line and carburetor. Yes, it looks tight. Since I've got that fuel line pulled out and the old filter off, right now I'll just pop a new filter on. This thing is here for a full service tune-up. There, that cleaned it out. Tank is clean inside. New fuel filter. Fuel line looks good. We pressurized it and it's not leaking. Quite a lot of dirt came out of the tank. You can see it down in there. This poor little thing is dirty as a pig. There is bar oil in there. And it's clean. I can see through it. And that tank looks clean inside. Okay, so we have fresh fuel. We have bar oil. Let's step outside and see if this thing will start for us. I'll meet you out there. Well, absolutely no sign of wanting to start. Here I thought we'd have a simple basic service on an MS260. That's now turning into a no start video. Well, let's peel back the layers. See how well this thing's been taken care of. That is one filthy, dirty air filter. Oh boy. Well, let's peel that air filter off. The hardware on this air filter looks like it's never had a screwdriver on it. I could be wrong. It's just my observation. So what you're likely witnessing here is an air filter being removed for the first time off a chainsaw from 2008. I mean, I could be wrong. I'll let you be the judge of that. That's pretty bad. So besides me just taking this off, does it look like anybody's ever had that off before? I've showed you air filters where you could see that someone had had a screwdriver on them many, many times. That 260 that I tore down for you guys the other day, here is the air filter off of it. And you can see that hardware. When they've been removed for cleaning, that's what they'll often look like. See the difference there? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shove a little piece of shop towel in there and just plug the intake up. Take this thing over to the air and clean it. See, there's lots of dirt in there. And then we're going to step back outside without the air filter on and see if that makes any difference at all. Okay, I'll meet you outside once I've cleaned this up. There, got that all cleaned up. But I can't take it outside without an air filter because the choke is built into the air filter. So I'll just put a new one on it. It needs one anyways. And then we'll take it out and give it a try. Tyler, I need a new air filter. Well, that was quick. You're quick. There's the part number. There you go, little MS260. You deserve a new air filter. You deserve to breathe. There. Brand new air filter installed. That old air filter is so packed, there's no way that that thing was letting air through. Actually, there's dirt inside of it. We might break this apart later, split it apart and have a look inside of it. So we've changed just the air filter. Let's go outside with it and see if it'll do anything for us. Meet you out there. Okay, no change there. I can smell gas. So let's peel back a bit further. I wonder if this top cover has ever been off before. I'm going to go with no. So judging from that air filter, I'm going to assume we have a fouled up spark plug. Before we take it out, we could just test for spark quick. Let's do that. Let's go down to the floor. Okay, so you're going to look in that window for spark. No problem there. That is a fouled up spark plug. Bosch, probably the original plug. Well, let me grab my camera and we'll have a quick peek down the hole. So that looks pretty good in there. There's a bit of a carbon buildup on top of the piston. But when you run an air filter that's completely stuffed like this one, this thing would be running pig rich. I don't know his fuel quality. I don't know what type of oil he runs. It came here with no fuel in it. But I think what we have here is a lightly used, abused chainsaw. I don't think this thing has a lot of time on it, but I think the little bit of time it does have is really hard, abusive use. This thing wasn't making chips. This thing was making dust. That's one of the more disgusting air filters that I've seen lately. Let's do a compression test. There's just about 150 pounds. So there's nothing inside that engine that would cause this chainsaw to not start. We have enough compression. We have lots of spark. Let's put a new spark plug in this. BPMR7A NGK, gapped properly. We're going to put our new air filter back on and head back outside. Well, take your bets now in the comment section. Is this thing going to start? Was a totally stuffed up air filter and a fouled spark plug causing this thing to not start? Let's go find out. Well, there you go. Filthy air filter, a dirty fuel filter, and a fouled spark plug. Chainsaw no go. So it's here for a service. So we're going to clean this thing up. Let's pull that clutch cover off, get that bar and chain off. Clutch looks good. Clutch springs. We'll give this area a clean up. And then we'll grease that bearing and put this side back together. I'll pull that recoil off first. This saw is off for a little spa treatment. MS260 back from its spa treatment. Just a mini spa treatment, not an all-day treatment. Okay, so we are going to reassemble the clutch side. We need that and the hardware, needle bearing, clutch drum, washer, clip, and the rim sprocket I am going to replace with a new one. Just check the rest of the hardware while we're here and just make sure that everything is tight. Just grease that needle bearing and we'll reinstall it. I think this is the first time it's been greased in 17 years. The clutch drum looks good, all cleaned up. New rim sprocket. Washer back on. And that clip looks like new. It's nice and tight, so we will reuse it. All right, so everything's clean, everything's tight, greased. That chain catcher has never been hit by a chain. Rope looks good. Okay, so here is his bar. It's pretty clean. There's not much jammed up in the rails, a little bit. So you can see this blue line around this bar. Stihl, when they make these, they heat treat these. So there is a level of blue that's normal, and there's a level of blue that is a sign of heat. Right here, here's a sign of heat. I actually have a better bar to show you this on. Better just put some gloves on here. So here's a very well used bar. All the paint wore off of it pretty much. You can see the blue heat treatment all the way around. So some of this is quite normal to see. There's overheating right there. You see the bar is damaged a bit. So seeing uniform ring of blue is quite normal. But that there is not. So don't be alarmed if you see this ring. Don't let a dealer tell you that you need a new bar because of something like this. Take a look at it yourself and just make sure. Make sure your chain sits in the groove properly. If the groove is worn and your chain is, and there's all kinds of sideways flop back and forth, then yes, it's time for a new bar. But just seeing that bit of heat treatment doesn't mean that you need a new bar. Just for further reference, here is an Echo bar, and Oregon made this for Echo. They don't use the same treatment. So if you were running an Oregon bar, you wouldn't see the blue ring. And let's say you went and bought a Stihl bar and you've seen that blue ring, you might be alarmed because you're not used to seeing that. Okay, so we're going to put his bar back on, and it came into me like this. So we're going to put it back on like this. I have cleaned, there was a couple burrs on it. I've cleaned them off, cleaned the grooves out. And he's getting a new chain. So he runs a 16-inch bar on this, 325, 50 gauge, 67 drive link. All the information is right there on this steel bar. 325, 50 gauge, 67 drive link. Clutch cover's been all cleaned up. Clean nuts. Well, this thing cleaned up pretty good. It came in here filthy. The recoil fins were packed. You've seen under there, the air filter was completely stuffed. I don't know what he was cutting with this, but he wasn't making chips. He was making dust. And you could see the dust was just stuck to everything. And his chain was in terrible condition. So he's got his bar back on, serviced, flipped over with a brand new razor sharp chain. So we're going to head outside with this, fire it up, make a couple cuts, and then when we come back in, I'm going to talk a little bit about the cost of doing this. I get asked all the time in the comments about the cost of service and repair and this sort of thing. So I know there's a lot of interest. So don't go anywhere. We'll talk about money when I come back in. And I've got a couple other things to tell you about some project saws that are out back and a marketplace find that I'm going to head out to get when I come back in from this. I'll meet you outside. Well, there we are. This little Stihl MS260 starts again. It runs, it cuts. So when this saw was dropped off, the customer said, tune it up. I'm not sure if it runs, and put a new chain on it. So we did just that. We found a completely stuffed air filter, like really bad. We found the original fouled up spark plug. We found a dirty fuel filter. We found a worn out rim sprocket, and we found a battered up chain. This thing has been cleaned, greased, completely serviced, and it's ready to go back home. So I get lots of questions about the cost of doing things like this. Every saw is different. Every saw needs something different. Some need more time, less time. It just depends. This starting issue wasn't a serious thing. So parts and labor in US dollars, because I know most of you were in the States, what I just did would cost $117 US, plus any taxes that you would have in your state. So for $117, he dropped off a non-running, filthy chainsaw, and he's leaving with a running, fully serviced saw with a brand new chain on it. Some of you might think for $117, that's way too much. Some of you might think that's not enough. I'm not sure. But if he could do it himself, he would have done it himself. He can't do it himself, so I'm doing it for him. So that'll give you just a bit of an idea. And maybe with some of these videos at the end, I'll start kind of telling you more like the cost of doing things, and that'll just give you an idea. I know in our area here, our shop rate, we are below everybody around us. So maybe we should up the shop rate. I don't know. But I think for now, it's what we're doing is okay. We're busy. I have no shortage of work. So everything is okay here. A couple things to talk about. MS260s. We have one that we have tore down. The parts have been ordered. Hopefully next week they'll be here. I have two more 260s out back in the crypt. I'm thinking about digging them out. I made videos about both of them, and some of you have probably seen them. There was an MS260 dropped off that had been to another shop 3 times. Remember that video? It went out back. I think we should bring that one back out to the table. And there was a 260 about a month ago. It came in with the muffler hanging off. The top cover was burnt, and I believe leaking crank seals maybe. So I think we should do a revival on both of those MS260s. What do you guys think? And one other thing, I was scanning Facebook Marketplace this morning, came across a beautiful looking shiny 026 Stihl. The guy says it won't start. His buddy looked at it. His buddy can't figure it out. I've made a deal on it for $50. So when I'm done here with this, we're going to hop in the old Honda Odyssey and go pick up that 026. You guys want to come along with me? Well, I guess that's it for this video. Gonna go make a coffee for the road and head out to pick up that Stihl. I'll see you in the next video.